Good evening, everyone. Happy Thursday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Thursday, July 27th, 2023. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Can I please have the first 5 cards in our 5-card spread? First card that we are starting our evening with today is the Emperor. So this is going to feel a little bit different depending on whether you align to feminine or masculine energy, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to. Specifically right now, for masculine energy, this could be a moment that is really about harnessing your own ability or degree of self-control and self-mastery at this time. A lot of care and attention into coming into this point for yourself at this moment, potentially even related to some of those circumstances that we've been seeing over the last few days that have been allowing this point of addressing, trying to move back towards a feminine energy that you feel is somehow blocked in the heart space right now, or also trying to go over your own sense of accomplishment at this moment as we see a lot of that rebirth energy occurring at this time. While for feminine energy, what we're really identifying around this masculine energy today, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to, is that there is a lot of care and degree about working to manifest this type of energy into your present circumstances or situations. This could be interpreted as, again, utilizing a lot of that masculine energy that you feel has this degree of self-mastery as you move forward towards your long-term path, towards your long-term goals at this moment, or at the same time, potentially working to manifest this type of energy. As we did see over the last few days, there's been a lot of care and consideration being paid into looking at karmic partnerships and really asking, are there spaces and places for healing to occur? Or are these moments that you need to move forward to align to your highest degree and goals? Next card we have coming through right now in our 5-card spread. Second card for our reading today is, we have here our 10 of Cups in its reversal. So this is that point that we're seeing that is requiring some degree of correction. This is going to be feeling like right now, having a lot of care and consideration towards those long-term plans, those long-term goals that you are setting for yourself at this time. For masculine energy, this could be feeling like to a certain degree you are really trying to buckle down today. You're trying to really put a lot of this care into what you are doing at this moment, all because there may be some doubts or fears starting to arise around your manifestations being able to come towards you in the way that you would typically desire. So what we're really seeing here for the masculine energy is there's a lot of work that may be done today to clear up any blockages or hurdles in terms of what that path looks like going forward. And this is going to require a bit of degree of knuckling down for the masculine energy at this moment. While for feminine energy right now, what we're really identifying is you yourself are also potentially experiencing or seeing some circumstances or situations that you feel are potentially causing or presenting some blockages for you at this time. Again, if you are working right now in union with masculine energy, you are getting a lot of support from a masculine energy that shows some degree and capacity in being able to help overcome some of these hurdles. This will be a moment of clarification that you're both trying to work on right now. And the feminine energy will be leaning a lot on the masculine energy today for this degree of care and support. While for those that are not necessarily in union right now, the feminine energy in this film moment could be working to manifest this type of energy towards them at this time as you put a lot of care and attention to any of the blockages that you see in your own long-term plans and your own long-term goals at this moment. Center card for today's spread we have coming through right now with 2 cards coming out for the center of our spread right now, and we like to see these cards in combination. We have here our Judgment card in combination with our Ace of Pentacles. So what we're really identifying at this time is this is a moment, and you will remember if you saw our daily collective read yesterday, that we had the Judgment card arriving in its reversal yesterday. There were points of reconsideration that were being established, things that you had to look back upon to decide. Again, these are either past circumstances that you had made a decision upon that you are now orienting or viewing in a different fashion, or a moment of recorrection, a changing on your own determination point at this time as you move forward towards those long-term plans and those long-term goals. For a lot of us, we saw that this was a moment that was even having you get a different change of perspective in terms of situations and scenarios based on the past, so that you can move forward in more productive ways as you continue forward from this time. And what we also see here right now is not only are you allowing this to be a moment of making determinations, helping to clarify some of these blockages that you may have potentially been feeling or experiencing as it relates to your long-term plans and goals at this time, but we're also seeing that you're doing so by putting forth a lot of care and energy right now in the tangible space. This is either going to be putting forth a lot of work and opportunity right now in this moment, or receiving this back towards you in some tangible degree or fashion that is helping further you and motivate you as you continue forward from this time. While we see here that there is some anxiety as it relates to the future, we also see here that there is this moment of concentrating and focusing on your present experience, on your present goals, putting that tangible effort in the moment right now, regardless of where it's going to necessarily lead you at this moment or feeling any of the doubts that you're feeling. You're letting your present experience help dictate and adjust for any anxiety as it relates to the future right now. For masculine energy, this is going to be requiring a lot of degree of self-control right now, because we could be seeing that some of these anxieties or fears may be causing some blockages for you. This is requiring for the masculine energy right now a lot of self-motivation as you move forward from this moment. While for feminine energy right now, again, you are trying to work right now to address and to make these efforts in your practical moment right now, working to adjust anything that you feel is not in alignment to your long-term goals and your long-term path, while also trying to manifest this type of energy as you go forward from this time. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. Fourth card coming through in our 5-card spread for today is 2 more cards coming out for our 4th card today. We have here our 7 of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our 2 of Wands. And what we really like about this right now is we are seeing that this isn't a moment that you're turning a blind eye to anything that you feel like you don't necessarily have the clarity on at this moment. Rather, what we like about this is you are taking a lot of care and consideration into where and to how you are investing your time and energy right now. And you are directing your focus into those spaces and places that you are seeing immediate, tangible results, rather than wanting to put a lot of that basis in that future path. That is why we see here this moment of doubt or uncertainty. Anything that feels at this point like it is going to take too long to come into fruition, what we're really identifying at this time is that is not necessarily the path or direction that you're not really motivated to move into at this time. Rather, you are concentrating right now on very much what feels tangible, what feels real, what is something that is actively occurring or you're experiencing in your own life at this time. What can you tangibly change? What can you tangibly activate upon? And this is allowing you to put forward your efforts and effectively even communicating around those circumstances or situations right now that you don't necessarily see the growth that you would ideally desire. You don't see things coming to fruition the way that you would ideally like or have come about. For those energies that are in union right now, this is that work that you're doing to clarify, to do a lot of work in the present moment, to be able to move forward and motivate any of these hurdles or any of these blockages that you're currently experiencing. While for the feminine and masculine energy that are not in union right now, this could be a moment that you are actively taking right now to put your efforts and energy into those spaces and places that you're seeing immediate results in. And that is what is allowing you to make this moment right now moving forward in terms of judgment, in terms of planning, in terms of opportunity. For masculine energy, this is again requiring a lot of self-control and self-mastery at this time, employing these tactics or employing these efforts to be able to drive forward in the face of some of your own doubts or anxieties or fears. While for feminine energy that is working right now in union, you are getting that level of support from that type of masculine energy, or you are working to manifest that type of energy into your present experience very tangibly at this moment. Final card for our 5-card spread for today is we've got here, and we love to see her in her reversal. We've got here the Tower in its reversal. So this is that moment that we see that there's been a lot of care and concentration right now into coming into a point of easement. This could be working right now to repair or resolve anything that you feel isn't necessarily moving in the direction, or you're having some doubts or concerns around, or that you're feeling that you are not seeing the growth opportunity or the planning opportunity that you would ideally desire at this moment. A lot of work being paid today in the form of self-correction, aligning and recognizing what needs to be adjusted so that you can move forward in a more productive fashion. While for some of you, this may also be a lot of that reconsideration energy that we recognized and witnessed in the daily reading yesterday. This may be feeling, I'm just going to put it out there, this may be feeling somewhat triggering, because often when we see this Tower card coming through in this way, what we're really identifying is this is a moment that you are also potentially having to experience a lot of those situations and circumstances from the past that may have led to Tower moments, that it may have led to difficulties, that may have led to points that needed to be realigned, even as you're working to immediately correct or adjust to prevent those from happening. So a lot of that work that you're doing right now, it's not just the fact fact that you're moving forward right now in a very practical fashion, but it is being informed a lot in a lot of the points of experience from the past that may have guided you in the wrong direction or may have been missteps. You are utilizing that energy today as you proceed forward at this time. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Emperor energy in combination with our 10 of Cups in its reversal. So again, for masculine and feminine, this will feel a little bit different. For masculine energy right now, what we're really identifying is this is a moment that is requiring a lot of self-mastery, employing a lot of this ability to find this self-mastery within, to be able to address for situations or circumstances that are not necessarily moving in the direction that you would ideally desire at this moment, or simultaneously working to correct for anything that you feel has a lack of obfuscate, like a lack of clarity, that has a lack of planning. This is that moment that masculine's putting a lot of energy in building that clearance point to be able to see that point of clarity at this time. While for feminine energy that's in union at this time, this is potentially, again, either working with a masculine energy that is reflecting and depicting this type of energy as you work to correct anything that is building some confusion about what the long-term plan and what the long-term path is at this moment. While for the feminine energy that is not in union, this is working to manifest this type of energy, and having this point of addressing anything that you're feeling right now is creating a blockage in your own manifestation goals. Continuing to get clarity on these two cards today, we've got here, it's back out again. We've got our 10 of Wands coming through right now. More of this completion energy. This is the nice completion energy too, because what we're really seeing here is this is a dedication to the path ahead. What we like about this for both masculine and feminine right now is this is a moment of coming to a point of determination, as is aligned with this Judgment card, in terms of the way through the difficulties or hurdles about what cannot be predicted and seen for the future, is committing at least with determination to the direction that you want to move into right now. For masculine energy, this is what is requiring a lot of that mastery of the self at this moment. It's requiring you to really tap into that degree of confidence and planning that you can adjust and acclimate to right now, pushing forward right now, even in the face of some things that you don't necessarily have full clarity and optics on as it relates to the future right now. While for feminine energy right now, we see that this is also a moment that you are committing your efforts and energies and potentially even your manifestation goals towards a masculine energy that is embodying these qualities and characteristics. If you are not in union right now as feminines, you are potentially working in the direction of being able to manifest this type of energy to align with you, even as you try to work through some issues right now about your own lack of clarity on the path ahead and the goals ahead. While for the feminine energy that is in union right now, this is a moment that is helping you get that point of orientation and optics, because while you may be experiencing some doubts, some fears, some points of uncertainty about what the future will hold, you are committing your own effort and energy in the path and the direction that you want to head into this time with the support of a masculine energy that is doing same. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our 10 of Cups in its reversal in combination with our Ace of Pentacles, which we love to see, and our Judgment card. What are we really identifying right now? This is a beautiful moment, because what we are recognizing now is, even while there may be some anxieties or doubts or fears rising to the surface right now about what that long-term path looks like, there's a moment right now that you are making your determinations and decisions based on what you can tangibly see, what is being tangibly offered to you, what feels like it is actual and true and in front of you, and that you're able to take those opportunities at this moment. And as we said, this is that moment of committing to those actions and activities, allowing that to drive your path forward, because you're seeing the immediate results of the work that you are putting in at this time, even with that lack of clarity about where things may be or how they may ultimately end up. And this is what you are doing right now to allow yourself to build upon the points of judgment that you are taking as you go forward from this point. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Sun card. So this is very beautiful energy, because again, this is the overcoming of any doubts or fears that you may currently be facing as it relates to that long-term path ahead. You are concentrating right now on the present, on your present experience, on your present goal, what you're able to hold in your hand right now, those goals that you are seeing that are showing those tangible results. You are letting that drive your actions at this time and keeping a bright, optimistic outlook as you do so. Concentrating again on the positives in this moment to help weather you through any of those doubts and anxieties and fears that you may have about the long-term path ahead. Continuing to get clarity on these cards right now between our Judgment card in combination with our Seven of Pentacles in its reversal, in combination with our Two of Wands. So what we're really seeing here is, again, a moment that you are allowing to build the course of action, to build your decisions at this time, with a feeling of not necessarily wanting to wait, looking at the spaces and places that you have been investing your time and your energy into right now, asking yourself, are you seeing that immediate result? Are you seeing the immediate results for the time and energy that you've been putting and investing into things, and articulating upon any of your difficulties or hurdles in terms of what you have not seen right now, or communicating that this is decisions that you're making at this point are based off the fact that you haven't seen things moving in the direction that you would ideally desire at this point. You haven't seen this growth. This is where a lot of that activity is focused on today, either building that path ahead at this moment or communicating that you're not seeing the spaces or places where that type of growth is possible at this moment. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with Page of Cups. And this is nice too, because what we're really seeing is this is a point of easement that's coming in at this time as well. One of the things that we're seeing, and I think that this is really going to feel very close to the masculine energy right now, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to, is the masculine energy right now is putting a lot of care and attention and degree in the hard work for today, really buckling down, doing the things that you need to do, having that degree of self-control at this time. But what we really appreciate around this right now is a lot of this is so masculine is doing this work right now to create a point of easement for themselves in the future. This is a lightening of the load, if you will, in terms of where masculine energy is investing their time, getting the clarity and optics in terms of the growth that you're moving into right now and what you're investing your time and energy into, either trying to articulate and see if these things are going to yield the results that you ideally desire at this point, or if they're not showing that degree or level of productivity at this moment. You're doing a lot of this work today, masculine. You're making a lot of your decisions based on this, all for the sake of being able to enjoy yourself more going forward from this point, trying to find those points of easement, trying to find those points of enjoyment at this time. A lot of communication based around those goals, but requiring a lot of work potentially in the present moment. For feminine energy right now, what we're really seeing is, again, this is either a moment that for the feminine that is going to feel quite different, because what we're really articulating about right now for the feminine energy is the fact that the feminine energy at this time is simultaneously at a point where they are making a lot of their decisions and judgments right now based on what they see productive outcomes on. If feminine energy isn't seeing the results of their efforts at this time, this is really a moment that feminine energy is going to be speaking up and articulating upon this, or needing to see some of those results in the present moment, because what we're really identifying here is feminine energy will be communicating and planning in this way. Also, to a degree, again, this could be a moment for the feminine energy of, again, looking at some of the masculine energy and having to make a point of consideration. For the feminine energy that is not in union right now, this is the moment that they could potentially be looking at masculine energy to see if the masculine energy is showing some degree or ability to put this ability of commitment into practice, to be able to show this degree and ability to be able to grow things, to be able to plan things, to be able to have these things that you're going to help build and clear off any of this uncertainty about the future that the feminine is experiencing right now. Masculine energy that is in alignment with the feminine energy right now is putting in that work with the feminine energy to clear up those blockages and hurdles, which is allowing for a point of easement for both the masculine and feminine energy that are working in union together to correct for these points. And that is what's allowing the feminine energy to be able to also come into a more of a carefree mindset as they go forward from this point. While for the feminine energy that is not in union right now, this could be shedding of any energy that you feel or recognize that you feel is only moving to the degree and capacity of serving their own needs, of serving their own desires, of only coming through right now from a place of enjoyment, rather than showing any degree or ability to invest in the long-term goals and the long-term path going forward. Why? Because the feminine energy that is not in union right now is working to manifest the Emperor energy, an energy that is showing a commitment and degree to be able to put in the effort And that is what is allowing the feminine energy right now during this Venus retrograde to potentially have to articulate this blockage, feel these fears, express these anxieties and doubts, or potentially even shed any of this energy that they feel isn't showing the level and degree of seriousness that the feminine energy is committing to their own path and their own planning at this moment. While for masculine energy, this is all about being able to build that point of orientation, buckling down right now, either in union with feminine energy or on your own right now, so that you can come into a space of deeper easement and enjoyment as you go forward from this point. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Two of Wands in combination with our Tower card. So what are we seeing here that is so lovely? We are seeing active communication, active planning to amend and adjust for any situations or circumstances to come into a space of greater easement. This is working through anything right now to make sure that there aren't going to be any blockages. There won't be any hurdles. For some of you right now, this could be feeling like a bit of triggering energy, because what we're really identifying at this time right now is this is a moment that you may have to be weighing and putting consideration points into experiences from the past that may have to rise up to be reconsidered, that you're using to base your own plans, your own path going forward to avoid these types of missteps as you go forward from this point. For some of you right now, this could be the correction of a moment that's already occurred that has become something of a Tower moment. A lot of this communication to try to amend and adjust for this catastrophe or this difficulty, that hurdle that you're experiencing. While for the other part right now, this is you utilizing those past experiences to help fortify your plans going forward. May I please have one card to clarify? What is this? Okay, we've got 3 cards coming out to clarify. Sure. All right, we've got 3 cards coming out to clarify right now. Apparently they all wanted to come out. We're going to read them because that's what we do. So what do we have to clarify right now? This communication that we're seeing that's coming through right now with this Tower in its reversal. What are we seeing here? Well, we are seeing here the reason that this work is happening right now is a point of healing. What do we keep seeing here? This is overcoming anything that you don't have the clarity and optics on in terms of what is moving forward at this point. The solution to that point of clarity all lies in what is being communicated and what is being offered at this time. So foresee a lot of communication today as it relates to having to overcome any of these hurdles and blockages right now as it relates to what things look like going forward. All for the effort of coming into a space of greater easement. For masculine, as I said, there's a lot of work that you're doing right now that's requiring you to knuckle down, but it's leading you to a deeper sense of peace and enjoyment, allowing you to kind of have the fruits of your efforts in the moment pay off in the future, and using that as your goal and orientation point as you do some of this work to overcome some of these blockages and hurdles at this time. For the feminine energy right now that's working in union with masculine energy, you are feeling this degree and support. You're seeing a masculine energy that is working actively to help build this clarity going forward. This is work that you are doing in combination, and that is leading you into a space of deeper healing. While for the feminine energy right now that is not potentially in union, this could be feeling like a bit more tricky territory, because this is potentially looking to see if the masculine energy around you is able to provide any clarity in terms of your own doubts, your own fears about there being some ability to see something moving in a productive way. This is that moment that there's communication happening around that to potentially even determine or articulate this concern that someone is only potentially, the masculine's only involved in their own needs, their own sense of pleasure, their own sense of delight, rather than being in the emperor energy in terms of being able to show some degree of ability to have this level of control, to have this level of mastery as you go forward from this point. For masculine energy, this is doing a lot of this work for yourself at this moment. If you are not in union, or doing this right now to try to correct for some situations or scenarios that don't have this perspective and optics, all for the sense of deeper healing. A lot of correction points coming through right now with these cards, working into a space or place of helping to either immediately accommodate and correct a point that could be feeling like a bit of a crisis, or utilizing a lot of these past experiences that you've had with crisis to help navigate and avert crisis going forward. Continuing to get clarity on these cards right now between our 10 of Wands in combination with our Sun card energy. Beautiful energy right now, because what we're really seeing, we've been seeing a lot of 10 cards coming through over the last few days. This is that moment that there is a commitment to a path, a commitment to the work ahead, really laying the foundation right now, setting your sights and your goals moving forward, concentrating on the work that you need to do now to get you to where you want to go, and doing so with a sense of deep optimism as you proceed forward from this point. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with communication, 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 communication. This is that moment for both masculine and feminine energy that communication is key. For masculine energy right now, there is that feeling of optimism, because we see that you are actively working right now to utilize your communication efforts to build that point of optimism, to build that point of opportunity. If you are masculine energy right now that is not in union, this is you really focusing, really putting your nose to the grindstone right now, focusing on your task at hand with a sense of optimism in terms of being able to move forward on your passion, on your creativity, on your efforts at this moment. While for the other part of the masculine energy right now, this is potentially having to reaffirm to someone your own commitment, your own degree of being able and capable to move forward in this capacity, trying to bring a point of optimism to a moment by expressing your own capability, your own passions at this time. While for feminine energy right now, this is also a moment that you yourself are really committing and putting yourself to the task at hand, doing that hard work today, but also keeping a point of optimism in terms of the direction that you're effectively headed right now. Again, if you are in union right now, this is working in union right now with masculine energy that is similarly expressing this ability to communicate, expressing this ability to plan, expressing this ability to drive forward in terms of creativity, plans, path, goals ahead. While for the masculine and feminine energy, for the feminine energy that's not in union right now, this is that moment that you yourself are potentially looking right now towards a masculine energy. As we said, having that point of really trying to see it's not about the question about whether the masculine energy is passionate. It's not about whether there is this degree of passion here. The harder question that is coming into play right now for the feminine energy is whether that masculine energy is showing that degree and capacity of being able to do the hard work necessary and keeping that point of optimism in it right now to be able to articulate and show that they are also able to manifest this emperor energy of self-mastery. So this is that commitment to the path with a point of optimism that is helping those points and plans come into action and fruition. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Sun card in combination with our Page of Cups energy. So again, for masculine and feminine right now, this could feel a little bit different. For the masculine energy, we see that a lot of the work that you're putting in right now, as it relates to putting down that focus, really getting to the hard work that needs to be done at this time, letting that guide your path in terms of the decisions and the plans and path that you have going forward at this time. You are doing it with a sense of optimism, again, working to manifest this point of easement. There's something here that is helping you feel that level or degree of enjoyment at this time. That is where we see that your ultimate happiness is at this moment, potentially even creating for yourself moments right now in your own planning that are going to allow these points of easement as you go forward from this moment. While for feminine energy, this is either working again in union with masculine energy and working again, keeping that point of optimism, having these celebration points that you're looking forward to ahead right now, working with the masculine energy to simultaneously be able to find those points of enjoyment in the moment, even as you're seeing a lot of that tangible result for your actions at this time. While for the feminine energy, that is not in union right now, this is that degree of care and consideration that you are paying towards masculine energy right now. You are focusing on your happiness. You are focusing on your joy. We've seen this coming through in the cards several times over the last few days with a lot of care and orientation right now towards a masculine energy to really try to identify if the masculine energy shows this degree and capacity of being able to also not only just be in a space of enjoyment, but also being able to put that care and determination in terms of building that path of clarity going forward at this time. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Queen of Pentacles, which we love to see. For masculine and feminine, this will feel a little bit different, but what we're really identifying here is for the feminine energy right now, this is that focus right now on building stability for yourself in this moment. Feminine energy is deeply committed to finding and building this stability for themselves. We have been seeing this in the cards. A lot of this stability for the feminine that we are recognizing right now is being able to see what that path ahead looks like, being able to have these plans, being able to see and understand what lies ahead. They're either working right now in a union with masculine energy that is able to provide that degree of ability, to provide that accessibility in terms of building that, showing the feminine energy the immediate results of the work and consideration and care that they're putting in at this time. And that is either working with the feminine energy in union to be able to feel solid and stable, even allowing the masculine energy to come into a space of having a bit more carefree delight in terms of that plan going forward. But what we like about the energy that is in union right now, this is that moment that we see that for both energies, that sense of optimism is what's helping guide you forward at this time. While for the masculine and feminine energy that are not in union, this could be feeling a little bit trickier, because what we're really seeing here is potentially feminine energy is concentrating very heavily right now on building a sense of stability for themselves at this moment. They are keeping a very optimistic outlook in terms of their own ability to create this stability for themselves at this moment. To that degree, they're looking right now towards the masculine energy with a lot of care to notice whether that masculine energy is simultaneously, similarly committed to building stability with the feminine energy, or if the masculine energy is coming through in a way that it only feels like it is coming through to a certain degree involved about having those momentary delights, having those momentary pleasures. Feminine is effectively saying to a certain degree that they don't want to effectively move in that way because they're so committed on their own point of stability at this moment. Well, for the masculine energy right now, this could be a moment that you are trying to find a point of optimism. This could even be feeling for them, the masculine energy not in union right now, like a point of indulgence, allowing yourself some point of respite, allowing yourself some point of easement, with a lot of concentration around building or manifesting for yourself at this moment a feminine energy that is able to maintain a degree of stability as you go forward from this point. Masculine energy right now, this could be again potentially even moving towards a feminine energy with some opportunities that feel more delightful. With some of these, any energy the masculine is working towards right now is really putting this point of optimism in being able to manifest this. And what that's allowing for the masculine energy is a point of kind of easing back, if you will. Having this point of self-care, self-enjoyment, self-indulgence, even as you keep your focus very much directed and driven towards this feminine energy that you feel is creating a point of stability at this time. Continuing to get clarity on these cards right now between our Page of Cups in combination with a lot of cards here, so just give me a moment, in combination with our Three of Swords in its reversal, our Three of Wands in its reversal, and our Page of Wands. So really for masculine and feminine energy right now, this is a moment of coming into a space of healing, working through a space of healing. For masculine energy right now that is not in union, this could be feeling like a bit more difficult, because what we're seeing for the masculine energy right now is there is this care and degree that you're not necessarily seeing the path ahead that is clear for you right now. You are focusing on your own healing. The masculine energy is focusing on their own healing in any way, shape, or form where they don't necessarily see that path or clarity ahead right now, with keeping a lot of focus on trying to start communication up to help build that clarity at this time, while also potentially having this moment of an easement for themselves, doing things that make them feel good, helping themselves feel better to a certain degree as they try to overcome some of these hurdles and blockages. While for the feminine energy right now that is not in union, this is a moment that you yourself are very much committed to your own healing path at this time. You are keeping a lot of focus right now in terms of whether you can see the path moving forward right now with masculine energy. And for the feminine energy that is not in union right now, this could even articulate between more than one masculine energy. That there could be for the feminine energy multiple other masculine energies that are approaching you at this time. But what we are really looking for from that masculine energy, for this feminine energy that we see, is that they need to see that clarity. They need to see that path forward. They need to see that ability to heal. And they're looking at the masculine energy to try to determine if the masculine energy can communicate a way to have that point of easement, or if they feel like they're still moving in a way of serving their own needs, serving their own desires, rather than creating the stability that the feminine is so focused on at this time. While for masculine and feminine energy that is in union right now, this is a joint effort that you are mutually putting in right now to build this sense of clarity with each other. An acknowledgement potentially could be here for that energy, that you recognize that there are some things that needed to be cleared up, but you are actively seeing the masculine energy being able to come forward in this degree and capacity to help amend any of these correction points, either through healthy communication at this time, but also with a sense of enjoyment that is allowing you that path forward into healing, into deeper healing, into recognizing that something is not necessarily moving into a crisis point, but moving into that immediate goal, immediate adjustment point to help you see that path going forward with greater easement. Can I please get one card to clarify between these two, please? 3. Clarification is coming through right now with our King of Cups in its reversal. So this is going to feel like there is a bit of an emotional overwhelm that's currently happening right now, potentially around the masculine energy. Bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to. For masculine energy right now, we are seeing that there is some care and degree that you need to put into your own sense of self-control at this time. Putting a lot of care and effort and energy in right now, potentially for future positive outlooks, future points of easement. But we do see here that there is something that feels like a bit of an emotional overwhelm that the masculine is experiencing at this time. There is a lot of active effort that is being paid right now in terms of what you are creating at this moment. For masculine energy at this time, this is a moment that, again, you are working to overcome some of these blockages and hurdles. You are trying to maintain an optimistic outlook. You're trying to put that care and consideration into what you are communicating. But you are also potentially communicating in some way, shape, or form your own emotional overwhelm at this time. This is maybe potentially why we see the fact that the masculine energy is in need of healing. Because what we're also seeing for the masculine energy here is there is some care and consideration paid to being able to avoid or avert any sense of crisis at this time. And this could be feeling like a lot of effort on the part of the masculine that could be feeling like it's creating a bit of this like surfeit of feelings. For masculine energy that is in union at this time, you are potentially working right now with a feminine energy that is showing a degree of stability at this moment that is helping you navigate some of these feelings of emotional overwhelm that you are experiencing. You are lending your own confidence and communication as you completely work through this together that is helping you come into a state of easement even while it feels a bit overwhelming. While for the feminine and masculine energy that is not in union right now, this could be feeling like a moment of emotional overwhelm. Because what we're identifying for the masculine energy that is not in union, there could be a moment right now that you are trying to work towards a feminine energy that you see has this capacity and degree of stability at this time. You are potentially trying to articulate towards this energy to heal any of these rifts, to heal any of these blockages, with a lot of care and consideration in terms of your own joy, even potentially doing some things right now to help you feel better in this moment because you're not necessarily seeing some of this path forward. And this is the reason that we have to be careful. The masculine energy that is not in union right now has to be very careful because this could speak towards masculine energy potentially overindulging at this moment if you are not in union, because something about some pathway that's coming through that is creating some sense of healing is kind of bringing you into a space where you are indulging in your own enjoyment point to the point that it could be getting a bit overwhelming here. Be a little cautious, masculine energy that is not in union at this time. While for feminine energy that is not in union, this is potentially, again, having a moment where you yourself are putting a lot of care and consideration on what? Your own sense of stability at this moment. You're putting all of your concentration on there and you're feeling rather positive doing so. And what we're really seeing for feminine here is feminine is putting all the care and consideration, not necessarily into moving immediately in the direction of any masculine energy that comes towards them at this time, but they're getting a lot of healing. There's a lot of active healing that's happening right now for the feminine energy not in union in terms of identifying why some of the energy around them doesn't allow for this path going forward. This could even be a feminine energy right now looking at a singular masculine energy that they feel is in this space, or for some of the feminine energy, this could be looking like I said, at a lot of different options that are around you at this time, and just feeling like you're not necessarily seeing that path going forward with any of them at this moment. Hence you going back into building that sense of security for yourself at this time. Because again, this is either a feminine energy that is seeing a masculine energy that is potentially in a point of emotional overwhelm, that is trying to have some communication here, but also feels to a certain degree of desire that they're moving too much in the realm of their own sense of enjoyment rather than showing that care and consideration for the feminine at this time. Or for feminine energy, this just could just be a bunch of different masculine energy that's like giving a bit of a Goldilocks effect here in terms of just looking at them and not necessarily seeing what you would ideally desire to see at this time. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Knight of Wands in combination with our Queen of Pentacles. So again, a moment right now that will feel a little bit different depending on whether you align to feminine or masculine energy, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to. For masculine energy right now that is in union with feminine energy, this is working in a really beautiful way, because what we're seeing here for the feminine is masculine, as we said, some clarity or uncertainty as it relates to plans, as it relates to the path moving forward. Masculine energy is employing a degree of self-mastery and self-control at this time to move forward, to communicate their passion, their plans, their articulation point. They're doing immediate action, right? Immediate action to the feminine that is allowing the feminine energy to then in turn feel stable, feel supported. These are energies that are like a circuit going back and forth to each other. The security in combination with the communication. It's beautiful. If you're in union right now, this is a nice adjustment point that we are seeing. While for the masculine and feminine energy that is not in union, this could be feeling a little bit more tricky, because what we're seeing right now for the unattached feminine and masculine energy at this moment is feminine is putting all of their concentration right now in their own stability, in what they're creating for themselves at this moment. Again, they're looking right now for masculine energy that shows that degree and capacity of being able to communicate, to be able to move things forward. Feminine energy is allowing some degree of attention right now to be paid towards the masculine energy, very much based on what they are communicating, on how they are communicating, on whether that communication is productive, if it's leading to deeper senses of stability at this time, or if it just feels like it's coming from a self-indulgent place. That is the point of optics right now that feminine is using to determine whether this energy is something that they will allow in based solely on the communication that they are receiving at this time. What's up, Strikes? While for masculine energy right now, we see here that there's a lot of passion. There's a lot of direction right now being paid in moving towards a feminine energy that you feel embodies these qualities of stability at this moment. Having a lot of communication right now towards a feminine energy that you may also recognize is very much concentrated on their own sense of stability at this moment. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our King of Wands in its reversal. So again, this will feel a bit different depending on whether you align to feminine or masculine energy right now. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to. For feminine energy, this is that moment that, again, if you are working in union with masculine energy right now, you are potentially working right now through a masculine energy that is also feeling some sense of setback. We are recognizing here for this feminine energy that while the feminine energy is very much focused right now on their own sense of stability at this time, they are recognizing that there is something here that they have to help the masculine through, even as they push forward in this way. Why? Because we see here that the masculine energy is utilizing self-mastery at this moment. They're pulling. Feminine energy does recognize to a certain degree that it is making this hard work for a masculine energy that is trying very hard to be able to push forward in this way. And they're doing everything that they can to support the masculine energy, even around any circumstances or situations where the masculine energy is feeling some of these hurdles in their own ability to plan well as they go forward from this point. While for the masculine and feminine energy that are not in union at this time, this is feeling like a bit more of a difficulty, because what we're really seeing at this moment is for feminine energy, we are seeing the unattached feminine energy is in a space where they are solely concentrating on their own ability to build stability for themselves at this time. That is making them have a very critical look towards the masculine energy. They are allowing that masculine energy to communicate. They're accepting that point of communication, but they are utilizing that point of communication to help them determine if the masculine energy is coming through in an authentic way in terms of what they are communicating, or if the feminine energy is recognizing some sense that they don't feel that the masculine energy is moving in an authentic way or in a way that only serves their own purposes. Feminine energy is kind of doubling down right now on their own sense of stability in the feeling of some of this flux that they're experiencing around their uncertainty towards the masculine energy that is either a single masculine that they're trying to identify and articulate upon their intentions, or potentially multiple masculine energies right now that they are uncertain what their motivations are. For masculine energy right now, this is a moment that could be feeling like a bit of a struggle if you're not in union with feminine energy right now. Because what we see here is while you may be trying to communicate to the feminine energy to some degree, you are also feeling some deep uncertainty in what or how you can communicate at this time that will allow the feminine energy to allow you some access to them or to allow you to interpret or to trust you to the extent that you would ideally desire at this point. Because it is requiring you to identify some difficulties in your own ability to plan, in your own ability to communicate. These are some of those setbacks that you may be currently experiencing right now with the combination of the Emperor card in combination with the King of Cups. You're in a point of emotional overwhelm right now that you're trying to utilize a sense of self-control upon right now, which is making it a bit hard for you to be able to accommodate accordingly what you are truly trying to do right now versus what you are trying to communicate. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Queen of Pentacles in combination with our King of Cups in its reversal. So for masculine and feminine energy that is in union right now, this is that work that you are doing in union to be able to support one another at this time. Masculine energy could be at a point right now where they feel a bit emotionally exhausted. This is either going to be interpreted right now as a feeling or sense of emotional overwhelm at this time, or that oppositional feeling of feeling somewhat disconnected from your own emotions. This is really giving a lot of energy potentially for masculine energy in union in just requiring some rest, right? Just like wanting and desiring a point of rest right now, because we see that there is this desire and degree of wanting to come into a point of easement, even though you've had a lot of activity today that's required this degree of self-mastery. But you're receiving the support of feminine energy that is coming through as stable, as supported, as you continue forward from this moment. While for the masculine and feminine energy that is not in union at this time, this is going to feel a bit difficult, because what we're really seeing here is masculine energy right now is at a point of emotional overwhelm. This is either articulating itself as an overabundance of emotionality, overly emotive, not able to contain this emotion, which is why we see that you're trying to employ this Emperor energy at this time. While you have a lot of care and consideration right now in the direction of a feminine energy that you potentially want to communicate with right now, but maybe holding again some degree or attention solely concerned on their own self and their own sense of stability at this moment. While for the feminine energy that's not in connection right now, this is again a moment that you are effectively potentially concentrating on just working through your own sense of stability at this time, recognizing to a certain degree or looking right now towards masculine energy and maybe experiencing some of this over emotionality, or oppositionally this withdrawal, this emotional withdrawal of the emotion that is further solidifying your own sense of aligning into your own sense of stability. This is like the Venus retrograde, like as well as you could hope for it to show up. This is like what we were expecting. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming right through right now. Here it is. How are we getting through the problem? We're working through the problem, my friends. We're working through the problem. Masculine and feminine energy. For the masculine and feminine energy right now that is in union, masculine energy is feeling at a bit of an emotional exhaustion point or emotional overwhelm, but they're again working. They're just putting your nose to the grindstone. You're employing some of that emperor energy right now. Have to have a little care and concern right now, masculine, not to overwork yourself at this moment, because this does show a bit of emotional exhaustion that's occurring. But again, masculine energy is getting fortified, that it's in union right now with a very stable feminine energy that is simultaneously also putting in a lot of this work and effort and energy at this time. While for the masculine and feminine energy right now that are not in union, what we are seeing here is feminine energy that is not in union is working right now very much with a commitment to their own sense of stability, their own sense of planning right now, what they are trying to create and grow for themselves at this moment, even in the face of some masculine energy that they may be holding at a bit of a distance right now, because they are seeing some signs that that masculine energy is at a point of emotional overwhelm or feeling at a point of emotional distance. And that is what is having the feminine energy recommit to their own sense of work at this time. While for the masculine energy that is not in union right now, what we're really seeing is this is a moment that you are experiencing a point of emotional overwhelm. You are potentially really focusing right now in terms of your own sense of self-enjoyment. You have to be cautious right now if you're a masculine energy that's feeling this, not to overindulge at this time. And also really committing yourself to the work that you're doing, which is probably further leading to some of this over-emotionality or this block of emotion that's requiring you to be in this emperor energy with a lot of care and attention right now towards a feminine energy that you recognize or see to a certain degree is potentially only right now focused on their own path or on their own goal at this moment. So different energies right now for masculine and feminine, a bit more tricky right now for the masculine energy, particularly the masculine energy that is not in union. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our King of Wands in its reversal and our Eight of Pentacles. So masculine energy that is not in union right now, like that is in union right now with feminine energy. This is some of that feeling right now of feeling some degree of frustration, potentially around your own ability to communicate plans, your own ability to do so. We see that you're employing a lot of that self-mastery today to be able to navigate through this. You're putting a lot of work and effort in right now so that you can have better clarity and optics and understanding going forward. This is a lot of work that we're seeing today for the masculine energy. So masculine energy, take care of yourselves. Take a little nappy nap today, okay? Well, for feminine energy right now that's working in collaboration with masculine energy, we see here that this is that dual commitment right now to put this work in, to put this effort, to put this energy in. Feminine energy is probably even doing some of this work on behalf of the masculine energy right now to help lighten their load, recognizing that the masculine energy is potentially at a bit of emotional overwhelm today and almost like reaching an exhaustion point as it relates to planning at this moment. Well, for the masculine and feminine energy right now that is not in union, this is a moment that could be feeling very difficult. Why? It's going to feel really, really, really difficult and different depending on whether you align to feminine and masculine energy if you are not in connection right now. Why? Because here we go again. What is the feminine energy doing right now? Feminine energy is concentrating on their stability and their own work at this time because they don't necessarily see or they're feeling anxiety around the masculine energy in their own intentions, in their own purposes, and whether they're truly coming forward in a way that is true and it's going to be similarly committed to building that point of stability at this time. Feminine's doing this on their own right now and not necessarily looking too much towards masculine, even potentially pushing some masculine energy off right now because they're so focused on their own sense of stability at this moment. While for masculine energy that is not in connection right now, this is a moment that you are potentially feeling some blockage. This could be feeling like either a literal blockage from a feminine energy in terms of communication, or it could be feeling expressly like some kind of metaphysical blockage from this feminine energy that you recognize is very much just focused on their own sense of growth, on their own sense of what they're building for themselves at this moment. And you similarly are working right now to take a page from that book and just concentrating on your own energy, on your own work, on your own efforts at this time, even as you are feeling a lot of this like lack of ability to communicate right now towards a feminine that is similarly in this vein. That is our final card. Is that our final card? No, here we go. Sorry. That is the point of clarification. Sorry, I got a little confused here. Clarification between these two cards right now is We love seeing this card because what we really see right now with this Eight of Swords in its reversal is this is that point of easement. This is that point of freeing. This is that moment of allowing yourself to break free from self-limiting beliefs, from anything that you feel is effectively holding you in place at this moment. For feminine energy, this ability right now to concentrate on what you're building, the sense of stability that you're growing for yourself at this time, is how you are freeing yourself right now from any circumstances or situations that you feel are not leading to productive places. As we said, the cards here today, feminine is extremely oriented in building that sense of stability at this moment, to the point and to the degree that we see that they're almost not accepting any energy from masculine, that they don't see or witness some point of ability in showing that same capacity at this time. For feminine energy and masculine energy that are working in union, this is simultaneous efforts to clear, to make things easier, putting in work right now to have a point of easement, to make things easier as you go forward. Maybe even some point of concentration on how to do that effectively today. While for the masculine and feminine energy right now that is not in union, the feminine energy is doing it for themselves. The masculine energy is doing it to try to distract themselves from a feminine energy that they feel at emotional overwhelm with, because the feminine is also so committed to building their own stability at this time. Final card for today's spread. We've got here, we love this, Two of Swords in its reversal. This is the moment of making big decisions. For masculine and feminine energy, this is taking action. This is following your intuition. This is following your own perception right now, allowing that intuition to guide you forward right now on your steps. We're seeing a lot of immediate active work. All of these cards right now are talking about both masculine and feminine energy being in a space where they want to see immediate action, especially the feminine right now. The feminine is seeing immediate action. They're putting all of that concentration in the present moment, taking their action as such, moving again to articulate, to see if an energy is showing that degree of ability of commitment here and stability at this moment versus just letting it go or releasing it. Masculine is also putting a lot of care and effort and energy right now in taking those leaps right now, doing the things that they feel that they are being called to do right now, even in the face of some blockages or in the direction or towards a feminine energy right now that they really see is that stable energy that they want to move towards at this time. That would also articulate a lot of this Ace of Pentacles energy that we're seeing at this moment. Masculine energy is feeling a point of emotional overwhelm right now and a degree of work that they're potentially coming forward right now with offers towards feminine energy that is able to show the same capacity and degree of stability at this time. This is all about those choices being made at this moment to help guide the path going forward in the midst of a Venus in retrograde. Which is probably a good idea. Bottom of the deck on this reading, we've got the World card, which is good. This is all about finding balance. All of this right now is about trying to find and maintain a point of balance. This is bottom of the deck. So we're saying here, it's not that the balance is being witnessed presently, right? We're not seeing that this is potentially a balance that is being experienced actively. Though I have to point out, for the feminine and masculine energy right now that is in union, this is all this work, all this concentration you're putting in right now is for the goal of finding that right balance, hitting that point of balance. That is what you are truly after right now. And we see for the masculine and feminine energy that is in union, you are putting in a lot of concentrated effort right now to build that point of balance, even if you're not immediately experiencing it. While for the masculine and feminine energy right now that is not in union, you are also trying to build balance. Feminine energy right now is trying to build balance very much on their own, is what we're seeing. There's an energy right now for the unattached feminine, where feminine is at a point where they're not willing to wait. If they're not seeing the results in that energy around them, showing that degree and capacity of maintaining that point of stability, that's just that moment. Feminine's like, I'm going to do it for me, because feminine is tired of not feeling that point of balance. They're taking it on for themselves at this time. For masculine right now, I got to stress, this is a very rough energy for masculine energy, especially for the masculine energy right now that is not in partnership. Because what we're seeing here with the masculine energy that's not in partnership, there's a big capacity or possibility here coming through about overindulgence, frustration that may lead to a point of overindulgence at this time, and potentially even trying to come through with some communication to help but not necessarily knowing how to do so or what to communicate. And it's at this moment that you are also trying to achieve balance, but you are potentially trying to achieve balance with a feminine energy that you may be feeling isn't necessarily as open towards trying to build that with you at this time. So that's something very important to keep in mind as well. That is our daily collective read for the day. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it with me. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, graystrega.com. My private readings are done over video with the option of a recording sent to you afterwards. And if you are a subscriber to my TikTok, you can take 10% off any of my services when you pay. Just mention your subscriber ID at the point of payment. Also, please keep in mind that booking a private reading with me is a two-step process. You have to book the reading and you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you would like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never PM you. I will never DM you. I will never slide into your DMs and tell you that I have a very important message for you. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website. So I encourage you to do it there. I want to thank you guys so much for being here with me today and sharing these messages. And we will do this again tomorrow.